That's a
Did you
show.
guys see the Godzilla trailer?
I did.
I don't
Saw it in
care
the
at
theater.
all.
Don't care at all.
Really?
I don't give a shit.
Oh, I'm so stoked.
Care.
I
thought it
couldn't.
looked cool.
Hey man, if I want to play PS4, I'll go over to Garrett's
It's
house.
not even that. I just.
I feel like the trailer.
Really? What's wrong with the trailer?
I'll tell you what's wrong with the trailer. I'll tell you.
Okay.
It was obviously made to look cool and not much of anything else.
Yeah, hey.
But it looked cool.
What's so
Yeah.
funny about
So?
that trailer?
It's a teaser trailer. I mean, I haven't seen anything of
But,
story.
it's like,
but hey.
but it's like these parachuters have like this red smoke streaming off them, and like, what's the fucking point?
I guarantee you
Other
that.
than
No,
just to be
hey.
visual.
and I'm watching that.
There is a tactical point to that. I guarantee
Okay,
you.
where was
You
it in the trailer though?
Because you know about like tactical
Yeah.
military stuff. Do you
It's
have an
most
idea?
likely. Hey, what I was watching when I was. What I was assuming when I was watching that, because I don't know. But that's most likely a marker so they can identify themselves so they can all stay together. And that doesn't seem ridiculous when
Okay.
you're doing a Halo jump.
But here's the thing: that trailer.
That just maybe you're right, but that stood out to me as like
What I was
not real.
what I was cracking up about though, watching that in the theater, there is no. It's a trailer that you mentally go, oh wow, like that all came together, and it didn't. The trailer has the dudes going out of the plane. All right, we're gonna do the jump, and it builds to this big thing. Boom, cut, and then it shows Godzilla, but there isn't a interaction between the soldiers and Godzilla. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a
I'm
minute
looking
long,
forward to seeing that.
sequence of the jump, and then it shows a monster.
and I feel like
Did they interact? Did they fight? Did they
some
meet
people
up?
Say,
What
some
happened?
People have this response of like, who cares? It looks cool. But I say the exact same thing back to them
proud of
with
yourself.
different inflection. Who cares?
Yeah,
It looks cool.
I like seeing
the thing is had that trailer just been like they don't. Do they fight the monster? The trailer was people landing for 2 minutes, and then oh by the way, the monster.
Well, didn't we already remake Godzilla?
Yeah, we did it once.
Yeah, see, I never saw like the Puff Daddy
The
version.
Daddy one.
But
The
like,
Puff Daddy music video is awesome. You should look it up.
Why are we doing
Because
this
I
again?
think it's a popular thing, especially with
I'll tell
Pacific
you.
Rim coming
You know
out.
what? There's an awesome article
That
I
didn't
just
do that
read
right.
in Variety by John Lasseter, and he talks about his theory about why remakes keep getting made, and it's because you don't have to advertise them. You can make this movie, and there's already an audience because everybody. It's like a.
Oh, I know what Godzilla is.
Yeah,
I already
you
like
sell
it.
people on the concept of like, does this interest me? This is weird. What is this? It's like, oh, Godzilla.
Oh yeah, it's Garrett's reaction to Resident Evil movies.
Yeah, I'll go see him just because they make a Resident Evil movie.
But people are saying in the chat they're defending it. Yeah, that's all it needs right now. Later trailers can elaborate on it. But what I'm saying is that they made a teaser that was a minute and a half of people jumping out of a plane.
It looked cool.
It wasn't relevant to a giant monster. It
Yeah.
didn't make a connection
Even
in
if
that
it
teaser.
that's the way they're. Well, and here's the
But
thing.
those are two different ideas.
All right,
okay.
This is nerdy too.
But
No, I know it is.
But
real
no,
quick.
No, oh no, I was gonna make a point that's nerdy. I'll let you. This is. Go ahead.
I'm just
I'll
gonna
say
forget
I'll say
it.
Go ahead.
But the director of that movie does not usually have say over how the film is marketed.
Yeah.
So someone who wants to make money and wants to make the movie look cool is
Yeah.
the person who took the cutting up of the movie and made that little teaser that has the people halo jumping and all the people suiting up in the gear, and then at the end you see the monster through the smoke.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's definitely not the creative director's.
No, totally, no.
He's
Yeah,
not
it's
presenting,
still a
but
marketing tool.
it's a marketing company.
My
You know what,
argument is,
though, like-
who needs a Godzilla movie anyways? I don't know why we need a new
Yeah.
one.
I'm gonna go
separate-
see it.
That's
I
another
think
subject.
Godzilla's cool. I got honestly, and this is what I was gonna say is nerdy. I get kind of bummed out that it's like America and like this American English-speaking military, because to me, Godzilla is so inherently Japanese.
I agree with that.
It should
Yes.
be like very obviously Japanese movie, and that kind of is just like these guys don't know what they're
Well,
doing.
I mean, we saw an American Special Forces team; those get used all over the world.
yeah, sure they do,
And-
but.
Where does the movie not take? I got the feeling.
And I'm just
Takes
saying, I'm not
place
sure, but it
Oh,
looked
it does?
very Americanized to me. But then also, on top of that, I feel like there are so many more interesting things you could do with Godzilla other than, like, let's watch the military go fucking fight this thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
But that's what I'm
you
saying.
have this giant beast coming to destroy you and your family and the town you live in, and there's so much like fear and tension you can play with that like it was kind of just like a G.I. Joe trailer with a giant dinosaur in it.
Yeah.
But again, my whole thing is just the editing of that trailer, and it was totally marketing people. You're right. But just the editing of that trailer, again, if it had that whole jump and then had them down on the ground, all right, load the cannon. Or, you know what I mean? Something where it's like we're about to interact with this.
It didn't tie it to anything.
That's what I'm saying. It had two separate ideas. Look at this big jump! And...
Monster.
Oh, big monster. That's what I'm saying. It was like, these are separate...
They could be 6,000 miles away.
Yeah, it was just
That could
peculiar.
have been a fucking
Yeah.
training mission.
Yeah.
And you know,
If they landed and loaded up a laser gun
Yeah.
and
Years before,
pointed...
like-
they could be just showing us really minimal little teases, like, you know, to get you excited for the movie's gonna have like special ops guys, which is like, for me, it's like, oh, I'm into seeing these spec ops guys like jump out of the fucking
Sure.
plane and go with all their cool guns and gear. Like, I'm into that already. So there's an appeal there. It could be like a Battle of Los Angeles or like a Battleship situation where there's fucking shit content and
Yeah.
they just don't show you how bad it actually
Yeah.
is until they get your ass in a seat. And then you
Yeah,
just
and
watch.
everybody's saying
I
in the
don't
chat,
know.
oh, it's just a teaser, it's just a teaser. I know that it's
Yeah,
just a
but-
teaser.
But the
We're
chat
talk-
also asked for our reaction if we saw it.
Yeah, we're talking about the editing of the teaser. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the movie. We haven't seen the movie.
It
That's what we're
did.
talking
It did to me though. The editing of that teaser trailer, that scene looked fucking cool.
Yeah.
Those dudes jumping out of the plane and
I'm
everything.
just tired of like.
I'd like to see those
I
guys
agree.
on the ground doing
I
their
feel
thing.
like every 3 months there's a trailer that starts with some general. Gentlemen,
Yeah.
we have a job that needs to be done. It's not going to be easy. Then you see a montage of like some crazy shit going on, and then, well, we got to do it to protect freedom. And then they all fucking load up in a plane and jump out of it. I just feel like I'm
That's-
tired.
You know
of
what?
this-
Gotta support
everyone-
the troops there.
What?
You gotta support the
Gotta
troops.
support
You
the
just,
troops.
you know what it reminded me of? And I want to tell everyone to watch this movie. Everyone, if you haven't seen it, get your friends together and watch the movie Battleship. You will have the
Oh,
best
God.
time.
Hotel room.
Hotel room.
Yeah.
We had some pizza
It
and
was
watched
so
the worst fucking movie
fucking
ever, and we had so much fun.
Battleship was so bad it was fun.
It was so much fun.
Don't pay to watch it though.
Battleship,
No.
Battleship is so bad it's
Steal,
fun.
steal,
Battle for Los Angeles though is just plain
Bad.
dog shit.
Yeah.
There's no fun in watching
Me, you,
that.
and Eric got together and tried to watch that.
Oh.
It was, man. They had CG in that was worse than like
Yeah.
the plane, like in the submerged.
It had bad
Lost
acting.
Village in the first episode of season 6 of Lost. Remember how shitty that looked?
The shark.
No. In the season 6 premiere of Lost, it was like the submerged.
Yeah,
Like
under the
Dharma
island
City.
under the
Oh,
water.
yeah.
So
The sea lab.
bad. It was
Yeah.
like, man, it was.
That was like PS1 cutscene.
It was so shitty. That's how bad Battleship.
Another
Battleship.
trailer that's
Battle
getting a
for
lot
LA.
of heat is that Spider-Man trailer,
Oh,
which I saw
man.
for the first time when we saw The Hobbit. Is that the
Yeah.
one people have been talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
It didn't seem. I mean, it's super CG heavy, but I
That's
mean,
what people were talking about.
It seemed run-of-the-mill Spider-Man, like what I've come to expect from Spider-Man.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
I don't give a
I don't-
fuck about
me
that
neither.
thing. That
I
is so
don't
off
either.
my radar.
And I'm so tired of of just movies using all this CG for shit. Like, you know, you see movies like Spider-Man, you see movies like, you know, that preview for Godzilla, and you're just like, yep.
It's here to stay, though, man.
Well, but the thing is, it doesn't have to be. And I know that it's harder.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be.
And I know that I know that it's harder to do certain practical effects.
More
I know that-
expensive.
I know that that's what, yeah, and it's more expensive to build sets. I know all of that stuff makes, it's time consuming and it's tough, and that's not what people want to do anymore because they just want to churn out a money making product.
Yeah.
But when you watch, the God, what is it? The Deity Who Descends to Earth, that Ono movie, the Studio
Yeah.
Ghibli Ono movie.
Yeah,
That's
they used
before,
puppetry in it.
before
For-
Evangelion 3.0.
Oh,
When you watch that and you go,
that's not
"What?"
the name of it. What's that called?
I don't know.
I
I thought it was something like that.
I thought it was,
but
yeah.
I don't know.
But when you watch something like that, and I remember watching it at your house going, why does this look so good? Why does this look better than multi-million-dollar budgeted blockbuster movies
Yeah.
here in the, why does this look better than fucking Avengers and like these movies that have so much money in their budget? Oh, it's practical effects mixed with CG.
Yeah, you do a nice mix.
And it looked like, if you want to, that to me, I'm like, I hope they do something more with that. I know it's just a one-off.
Well, that's why I think The Hobbit looks so good. Because
Yeah.
the practical effects mixed with what you have to use. You will have to use computers if you're doing a big
Yeah.
scale thing. Gravity, you'll have to use computers.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
But-
You know what's
CG
funny, though, is
CG
like-
doesn't really bother me though
No, it
when it's
doesn't bother
something
me.
when it no. Well, I was gonna say when it's something that can't be done. Like you wouldn't have Gravity. The movie Gravity wouldn't exist without that.
Exactly.
So it doesn't bother me there.
Exactly.
It's like I feel though that is a red herring because so many people think about like how are we gonna achieve these effects to make this movie good when really it's like you need to write something that's good. It doesn't matter how big the explosion is if it's just a stupid explosion, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's my issue with all of these movies. It's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, it's huge, man. These guys skydived out of space to go fight this dinosaur. That's fucking dumb. I don't know what to say.
I mean,
Looks
like,
cool.
yeah, Prometheus looked great because it had practical and CG.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
But when it was 100% CG, it bugged me.
yeah, but then you go back
Because
to
that's the thing. Bad looking CG bothers me.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes they just make bad look. It doesn't happen as often anymore, but it used to happen a lot.
And
And,
it
there's
dates-
a period of time where every fucking movie, every Harry Potter movie, the early ones, I thought had shit CG
they
in
all have shit.
it. The
Well-
fucking I Am Legion has some of the worst
Oh,
CG
God.
I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
And that movie
Yeah, a lot
wasn't
of
that
people-
bad.
A lot of people talk about that. That's
The why use the fake lions when real lions exist in this
Yeah,
world? Like
and
you're saying.
that's what I'm talking about. That's
Exactly.
when it bothers me.
Yeah.
But
I don't have a problem.
Not
with
to
it
mention
during-
the dumb vampire mouths in that movie that look
Yeah.
I think
fucking
if you go back
stupid.
and watch the original Lord of the Rings trilogies from the early 2000s, you'll see that the models are very obvious and don't
Yeah.
look as good as they once did. So,
Yeah.
you know,
They-
but
but
those
you know-
movies still hold up because Lord of the Rings is such a beloved story.
and it holds up because it's not. They don't try to beat you over the head with how much CG there is, and like when you look at somebody in the chat mentioned Blade Runner, and it's all just practical effects and miniatures and I remember when
Matte paintings.
and I remember watching it at your house and going, when was this movie made? Because I could
82.
not tell
Yeah.
what year that movie was made. That's how good it looked. Like you can do it. You can make these worlds that aren't real look real.
I think the worst use of CG in a movie, if I had to pick, like that's it. That's the worst use.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, just fucking puppets, dude. No, actually, maybe a tie. Maybe a tie.
Kevin.
Hey, but legitimately, I thought that though, Kevin. When I'm gonna call him out, but when Eric talked about the CG being stupid, and he didn't like the CG in Gravity, that movie and what popped into my head when he said that was it's like going to see Cars and going, man, I wish this was real Cars. Like it wouldn't have been made. Anyway,
I think
but-
it's bullshit.
I
You
didn't
called
see
Eric
Gravity.
out in the podcast means I'm here to defend himself, personally.
No, I was going to say, what was I going to say about?
That
The
CG
worst
in the movie.
worst CG. I think honorable mention: Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Oh, fuck.
the
yeah.
gophers in the very beginning.
Yeah.
There's a lot in that movie.
You're
That
an
was
idiot.
a perfect start. Like, oh, this is what we're getting.
I will
Unnecessary.
never
Hey,
forget.
No, hey, the CG wasn't bad. Those gophers looked real.
Nope, I don't think so.
No, they were like Chip and fucking Dale. They were like laughing with each other.
Yeah,
It was cute, but I believed it. I didn't like it, but I believed it.
I remember being in the theater and it was like electricity running high on like, whoa, we're getting
Indy,
Indiana
we got
Jones.
Indy.
And that first shot came up and the CG gopher popped out and you could just feel the air suck out of the. It was just like immediately, and the energy never came back.
Lucas got a bad rap with CG from the prequels, I think.
Yeah.
Well, no, from the special editions.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. The
Yeah.
special edition.
Oh, so what I was going to say, but the worst use of CG ever, I think, it genuinely is I Am Legend. That you had these like just these infected humans,
The Mummy Returns mouth.
and it was like these are just CG. I mean, you could have.
Oh, hey.
This was makeup.
You know what?
I mean, this was
Well, and their
That's-
mouths all
hey,
opened too
That's
big.
bad, but I'm pretty sure you never saw the Scorpion King. That is
It's a
the
hell of
worst
a movie.
CGI.
Oh, The Rock CG'd into a scorpion.
Yeah.
Was that
Man.
in
Oh,
Scorpion
yeah.
King or The
Yeah.
Mummy 2?
Who
Those are
knows? But
Scorpion
both
King.
sucked.
Because the ending of The Mummy 2 has him showing up. His character is the scorpion. That
Oh, you know what? No, The Mummy 2,
Yeah.
the subtitle was The Scorpion King.
Yeah.
No, there's
No.
two. No,
Scorpion
there's-
King was its own
that,
movie.
that was its own
Film.
movie.
I realized there was Scorpion King was his own movie, but The Mummy 2, Scorpion King is the villain of that. And
Yeah.
isn't the
I
subtitle
thought it was
like-
Yeah.
The Mummy 2, The
I think
Scorpion
it's
King.
Return of the Mummy.
Emotep's going
Yeah.
up against him in the end because
Well, yeah, it's when he comes out as the Scorpion.
Yeah,
King,
he
and it's
shows
not
up
even-
at the end,
It's not
yeah.
even his like real face. It's
No.
like a
CG.
CGI model of his face.
They just used the assets from like the PS2 game.
yeah,
Really
they
bad.
took a WWE game from 2003 and they just molded
Yeah.
the graphics.
That was like his first step into filmmaking.
Was the Scorpion or
I
was
think-
Mummy 2?
Was Mummy,
Yeah, Mummy 2.
The Mummy
That's
Returns?
his first
Yeah.
movie.
Well, they were getting the Scorpion King ready at the same time. The Mummy 2 and Scorpion King came out within like a year of each other.
That's right.
So they thought, well, let's have Scorpion King stuff.
Tie in.
Like they see this guy, and
Yeah.
then you don't know who what that was all about, but the Scorpion King sums it all up.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I was in a band with a guy and he wrote a song called The Scorpion King. And it was about that. It was about going to see that movie with a girl. And he tried to kiss her.
Did it work out?
It's a true fucking story. It's really
I'll
happened.
never forget The Mummy 2 or The Mummy Returns.
No,
is
it didn't
what it's
work
called. The Mummy Returns cracks me up because I remember waiting in line for it outside and telling somebody a story with really big gestures,
Yeah.
and I went like that and hit some super thug dude, and was really not happy about it. And I had to like talk my way out of a fight. It was like, no, I was describing a shit I took. I wasn't like.
Oh man.
This is describing a shit I took.
And you know what? Someone brought up a good example. Somebody said the CGI during the Burly Brawl in The Matrix Reloaded is really bad. You know, and this may not be a popular opinion, but CG doesn't bother me when it is something that cannot exist otherwise. And that is a situation where that fight defies all like...
That's with a million Smiths all
Yeah,
coming out.
and
of
it's
one.
like the way that it is done is not any...
but you know what? That's
But like half
It
of
looks
it...
shitty though.
Half of it is practical, and then the second half has shitty CG, but it's so gonzo at that point that I just go, well,
Yeah.
it's not like it was two guys fighting in their CG.
Yeah.
That I would go, oh, fuck you. But, you know, I just didn't really,
I
it's
don't
like...
think the Burly Brawl though fails that it's multiple Smiths. It is
Yeah.
that it is so gonzo, like Neo putting the pull down
And spinning
rolling
around,
around
yeah.
on everybody. It's like you didn't need to go that route, and it doesn't really look that good anyways. So
Yeah,
But you know what?
I liked that personally.
It's fun to
At that
watch.
point, they were bending the rules of the shit they were in, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So the CG... But yeah, I see where people check out at that.
Yeah.
But I don't think... The CG didn't bother me because, yeah, at that point, it went so fucking bizarre. I don't care how they... You know what I mean? It's like, this wouldn't be in here if it wasn't, you know.
I still think it's fun to watch because those movies, a lot of the fun part of it was the ridiculous fighting in it. And what I mean by ridiculous is just how over the top they went with them,
Yeah.
and how like intricate they would get and how choreographed they were. So I'm like, whatever. This is why I'm watching this movie. Like, I mean, part of it. The other part is, you know, you want to learn about what's going on, why the Matrix exists, and all that. But then the other part of it is that it's visually stunning for like the type of movie it is. I mean, that's what it got known for, was the fighting. So yeah, let them go nuts with it. Let them try different things. I thought, you know, yeah, it may be crazy, might not look that great in terms of the CG, but they always tried to keep it dynamic or at least interesting with those fights. It was what, 5 minutes of people fighting? Like, what do you, like, check the fuck out anyways, because 5 minutes is just people having fights. I think the last fight between Neo and Smith was like, what, 15 or 20 minutes?
Yeah.
In which film?
In like the last
last
movie.
yeah.
It's like 15 or 20 minutes of them just fighting, and it's like, hey, if you don't care to watch these guys fight, what are you doing here? Like,
Who named that scene the Burly Brawl?
yeah, what?
That was the nickname it got in production. Because it was like so many dudes piling on top of each other. They were like, oh, all right, all these burly dudes, whatever. It became Burly Brawl.
Burly
and then
Brawl.
that turned into...
None of those guys are really burly, though.
No.
I mean, Neo's skinny. Smith is
they
skinny.
were really... The Wachowskis were really into like wrestlers and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And that's a
That makes
nickname
sense.
from that or
Well,
something.
yeah, because they have that comic company,
Burly Man Entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, because that's something you would do in wrestling as the big burly man. Like, you would have like 2 or 3 people try to get on you, and then you
Boom!
would straight up just go, boo, and break
throw 'em
everybody
all
off.
off, yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Send guys flying.
I'm gonna run a commercial real quick.